If you had to guess what Skoda's most popular model is, would you say A, the Fabia, B, the all-electric Enyaq, or C, this Skoda Karoq? Well, it's actually none of those. It's obviously the Octavia. However, this Karoq is their second best-selling car and it's their best-selling SUV. And as you know, everybody wants an SUV nowadays, so they are selling a lot of these cars. The car has been on the market since 2017, but they've already sold more than 500,000 of them. It also means that the car has been on the market for more than 4 years now, so you know what that means. It's time for facelifts. So yes, this is the most popular Skoda SUV at this moment, the Skoda Karoq. And if you haven't been following the brand lately, you might be wondering how many SUVs do they have? Well, let me get you up to speed. 5 years ago they had 0 SUVs, and at this moment half of the cars they are selling are SUVs. So yeah, that's escalated quite quickly. Well, I say 5 years ago they didn't sell any SUVs, but of course they did sell the Skoda Yeti, which was actually maybe the first modern compact SUV ever, even before the Nissan Juke came to the market. But the Yeti was actually built on the same platform as the Audi A3, the Audi TT and the Volkswagen Golf. So it really wasn't a crossover SUV like we know them today. The Karoq is the successor of the Yeti and it is currently the mid-size SUV at Skoda. And they also sell a larger SUV, the Kodiaq, and also a smaller SUV, the Kamiq. And of course then there's the all-electric Skoda Enyaq. And so those are all the SUVs that Skoda are selling right now here in Europe. And again, that all happened quite quickly because 5 years ago they didn't sell any and now they sell a lot of SUVs. Anyways, this is the new Skoda Karoq, or the renewed Skoda Karoq. And you can recognize this renewed model by a couple of new design elements. For example, there's a new grille on this car, which is a lot bigger. It's a lot wider than the one you get on the previous model, which makes this Karoq look a little bit more tough. Then let's move to the headlights. These are also new. As standard nowadays you get LED lights, but you can also get matrix LED lights. The form of the lamp is also a bit different. You now get new daylight running lights that have been split up into different sections. Then the last part that they changed here on the front is obviously the front bumper. It has been redesigned. You now get these new lower grille here down below that has a new shape. And you also get these new almost triangle shaped air inlets on the side. Now, fuel consumption is really important nowadays, not just because of the environment, but also, well, because of the current fuel prices. So they made the Karoq extra aerodynamic. For example, the grille can close automatically when the engine doesn't need that much cooling. But you can also get aero wheels. The car I have here also has some kind of aero wheels, but you can even get more aerodynamic wheels. These are the aero wheels I'm talking about. And you can actually take them apart, which might sound a little bit strange, but you can pull this black plastic part out of the rim, and then the rim, well, might look a little bit cooler depending on your taste. But if you want to have a little less fuel consumption, you can click this black plastic part back into the rim, and then the wheel is a bit more aerodynamic, which is of course good for fuel consumption. At the rear you also get a couple of new design changes. For example, you now get new tail lights. These are LED lights as well as standard, and they also have dynamic turn signals, so they blink from the inside to the outside. And they also give like an opening sequence when you unlock the car. What else is new here at the back? Well, for example, you now got new rear bumpers with a kind of a sporty rear diffuser, and they also have these fake exhaust at the version that I've got here. You also get this new spoiler, which is extra big. It's quite a long spoiler, and you get these little winglets on the side. The spoiler is here to reduce a drag behind the car, making the car a bit more aerodynamic. Let's have a look at the cargo space. So let's open the boot. As you can see, this is an electric tailgate that I've got here, which is always nice to have. You get 521 liters of cargo space here, which is quite a lot. But what is also very interesting is that it is a very practical cargo space. For example, you get these rails here on the side with hooks where you can hang your coat on or something else. You get these flaps with Velcro here on the bottom to secure cargo. You get more different handy compartments here on the side. It's all very practical indeed. Now, of course, you can create a bit more cargo space by folding down the rear seats. You can pull these levers here on the side, which will fold down the rear seats, creating even more cargo space. Now, the car I have here doesn't have the VarioFlex seats that you can get as an option. If you go for those, you can actually fold up the rear seats, creating even more cargo space. And if you want, you can even remove them all entirely from the car, creating an even more massive cargo space here in the back. So the Karoq is quite a big car. It's 440 centimeters long and the wheelbase is 263 centimeters. So I've got this seat in my usual driving position and I'm 180 centimeters long. And I've got plenty of knee room here, and I've also got a decent amount of headroom, even though this car is fitted with a panoramic glass sunroof, which does eat a little bit into the headspace. The front seats are lifted up quite a bit, which makes it very easy to put your feet under the seat, which is always nice. And that also means that the middle part, it's not a bad place to be, because again, you can put your feet under the seat, although you do get a big hump here in the middle, because you can also get this car with a 4x4 system. Now this particular version that I've got here has the heated seat option and can even adjust the temperature here in the back. And there's also some USB ports here and even a full power socket here, which is especially nice if you want to do some work here on your laptop in the back. What else do you got? You got an armrest, obviously, with cup holders. It is a bit annoying that they aren't covered up, because now you always got your hands, well, basically in the cup holder if you use the armrest. Now, like I said, this particular version of the car that I have here right now doesn't have the optional Vario flex seats, which I would definitely go for. They're like a 600 euro extra, but I think they're worth it, because then you can individually slide the seats around here in the back, and they can also recline for added comfort or added boot space. So yeah, I would definitely go for that. You can also get picnic tables here in the back. Again, this version of the car doesn't have them, but you can get them if you pay extra. Again, a nice option to have, especially if you have smaller kids and you're planning to do longer journeys. Here in the interior, a couple of things have been changed. For example, there are some new materials that have been used. Also for the seats, you can now get some mocha and black combination for the seats as well. And in this sport line that I'm driving right now, you get some carbon trim in the doors and some glossy black plastic here on the dashboards. The infotainment system is basically still the same. You still got the same screen. The system is fast enough, but it isn't the fastest system out there, but it is plenty fast for normal daily usage. You still got the physical buttons down here for the climate controls, which I really like. I don't really like it when they integrate that in the infotainment system. I much rather prefer to operate the buttons here myself, so I can really easily set the temperature without having to go to the infotainment system. What is new is that you get a digital gauge cluster now as standard. The regular screen is 8-inch, but you can also get a 10-inch screen here in front of you. There are a lot of menus on the screen, which I actually do like, because then you can set it to your own liking. So if you want to have the navigation map right in front of you, you can go for that, but you can also see your speedometer, your tachometer, and all kinds of other information. There are some couple of buttons on the steering wheel, which you can use to control the menus right in front of you. Then let's talk motor options. There are still plenty of motor options to choose from, both diesel and petrol engines. For example, you can get petrol engines from 110 horsepower, 150 and also 190. At the moment I'm driving the 1.5 4-cylinder producing 150 horsepower, which is actually plenty in a car like this. Although I do have to say the 190 horsepower version is a bit more fun. But 150 is definitely plenty for most people, and I would say even 110 horsepower is plenty in a car of this size. Now the 1.5 I'm driving right now is mated to a 7-speed automatic, but you can also get a 6-speed manual. And I have to say the combination with this 1.5 4-cylinder and the 7-speed automatic is just a very nice combination. It's a very comfortable drivetrain. The automatic transmission is always doing what you want it to do, and if it isn't, you can just use it as a manual. You can just flick it to the right and then use it as a manual, or you just put it in sport mode if you just want to have a more sporty experience. Because I have to say, if you don't put it in sport mode, the car is not making a lot of revs. It's keeping the revs really down. It shifts up quite quickly, which can be a bit annoying. So I actually prefer to put it in sport mode, even if I'm not planning to do any sporty driving. So the Skoda Karoq is based on the same platform as the Seat Ateca and the Volkswagen T-Roc. Now if you're planning to buy any of those cars and you're not quite sure what the difference is behind the steering wheel, having driven all of those cars, this is definitely the most comfortable one. The Seat and the Volkswagen are a bit more geared towards sporty driving, although they're not that sporty, but they are definitely a bit sportier than this one. they definitely have a bit more dynamic driving experience compared to the Karoq. This car is definitely a bit more comfortable. It's really good at absorbing all the bumps in the roads, making it just a very pleasant driving experience, especially if you're planning to do longer trips with this car. So that's it for my first impression with the renewed Skoda Karoq. I hope you like this video. If you do, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And then I'll see you in the next one.